Hi folks, welcome to your mwis Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. Things are looking pretty good as we head into the weekend. Saturday, the pick of the day is for most places. The risk of some rain spreading from the south as we head into Sunday. The general theme for the week ahead stays rather mixed, it must be said, with low pressure quite close by over the Atlantic, with some further rain and some windy days in there again. In the short term, we have high pressure, which is over the country. Now that will give a fine day overall on Saturday. Some cloud around in the morning, particularly across west and northwest Scotland. The remnants of a warm front just skirting the northwest coast, which could produce the odd spot of drizzle. But overall, it's dry, sunshine coming through pretty widely, and the wind dropping light. Rather breezy, though, in the morning, particularly across northern mountains in Scotland. Feeling pleasantly warm by the time we get into the afternoon. We're watching developments out towards the Bay of Biscay, though, because potentially thundery activity developing there is starting to encroach northwards later in the day. If we run the sequence on, and this chart shows the rain in blue, the white is the thicker cloud, and the cloud that's showing across Scotland late on Saturday is fairly high level stuff, so you'll still get some sunshine through that, but it might just be rather hazy. Now let's just run the story in 3-hour steps, and that area of potentially thundery rain coming into southwestern Britain on Saturday evening, and that running northwards then overnight into the early hours of Sunday. It could be quite hit and miss, some sporadic heavy bursts in there and the risk of a rumble of thunder. And those showery bursts of rain continuing into Sunday morning. Very hit and miss again in terms of where these exist. Don't take the exact detail from this chart, but broadly across the Pennines into Wales, expect some rain or some showers and the odd heavy burst to be in there. A chance of isolated thunder, although that activity may have subsided by this stage. It leaves, though, a rather murky and damp atmosphere with quite a bit of fog around across the hills around that rain, and some showery bursts continuing to run northwards across the Pennines, the Lake District and into southern Scotland on Sunday afternoon on quite brisk southeasterly winds. Towards the north of the Highlands, most likely a dry day, some sunshine and hazy high cloud. Things tending to clear from the south across Wales, although by the evening time the risk of some further bursts of rain and potentially thundery rain coming up from the south. It might be sunset onwards before that really gets into Wales, but that area of rain then continues to move northwards, it looks like, overnight and into early Monday. So a wet start to Monday somewhere across Wales, northern England and perhaps into southern Scotland. That's how the chart looks for Sunday. High pressure is positioned towards the north, allowing that zone of instability to come up from the south, with quite gusty east by southeasterly winds much of the day across England and Wales, and will strengthen with time across the Highlands as well. Best of the sunshine focused across more western and northwestern parts of Scotland. Some fog banks off the North Sea could lap in to some eastern hills in Scotland, and around the rain and the showers for England and Wales, as I said, those cloud banks could be rather stubborn, breaking up a bit in the afternoon from the south. The next fronts then, as mentioned, have moved northwards by the time we get into Monday, and that's a degree of uncertainty where that front is positioned over the south of Scotland and north of England, but the idea of that area of rain and low cloud and murkiness that could be in there. Breaking up from the south with some sunshine coming through, but with a warm and humid atmosphere feeding up from the south, the recipe for the odd thundery downpour to form across Wales and perhaps running into the Pennines through Monday afternoon and early evening. That all rather hit and miss again by this stage. Deteriorating from the south, it looks like, across the Highlands, with some rain pushing northwards, maybe only small amounts later in the day the further north that you go. The wind quite light and variable, but could be gusty for a time around some areas of rain. We've got quite a deep area of low pressure which is situated to the southwest at this stage. As we go into Tuesday, that runs northwards to the west of Ireland, but generally fronts associated with that will push through across the country on a south to southwesterly wind. Now it may be that these fronts have sort of broken apart for a while and not really much around apart from maybe a few zones of cloud and the odd shower. Showers perhaps more common across the Highlands. England and Wales could get away with a dry spell, but then the risk of some further rain spilling in from the southwest later on to turn heavier and more persistent. Detail and timing of all of that is quite uncertain. Feeling very warm and humid for southeastern Britain, a little bit fresher across more northern and western regions. Wind speeds are somewhat uncertain, but the risk of being rather strong and blustery, even up to gale force, around more western parts of the Highlands. Southwesterly winds prevail into the middle of the week. High pressure is having a go at building from the south, and that was the theme we were looking at. If you remember last week's video, the idea that high pressure might just try and build further in. It's a slow process at this stage, so a few more days of mixed weather looking likely as we head into the middle of the week. Some showers feeding in to western mountains, drier and brighter towards the east, and fairly warm temperatures for many places, but in those western areas where it's showery, it will feel rather cool if the cloud is persistent across the mountains. The indications for the later part of the week keep these rather mixed southwesterlies in charge. Some showers, some longer spells of rain occasionally in more western regions, especially in Scotland. Showers a little bit more scattered for England and Wales where pressure is higher, and temperatures somewhat on the cool side across the Highlands, a bit warmer toward the south. By the time we get to the end of the week, high pressure is situated just to our southwest. Still some showers for the Highlands, drier for England and Wales. And it may just be that high starts to build in a bit further as we get into next weekend. So if we can time that right, it could be that next weekend is looking good. Looking at the longer range outlook towards the end of the month, and this is the 7-day pressure averages, this to the end of May, and shows the idea of high pressure situated to the southwest, low pressure around Scandinavia. So a reasonably optimistic story of trying to build that high, but still just maybe a westerly wind at times, bringing some areas of showers, particularly into Scotland. So not looking too bad late in the month, and the optimistic outlook is there as we go towards the next bank holiday period into early June, with higher pressure just building a bit further in across the British Isles. So early indications would look good, but as always at this distance treated with caution. All your local information for the next 3 days available every day on the mwis website. That is your Friday planner in association with Ellis Brigham. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.